We are live. Okay. Where are we? 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 154. This is gonna be a softball episode because we're a week before DEFCON. We are recording this literally the week before. You're gonna hear it, I don't know, later on this week, maybe early next week. And all the exploits, all of them are being hidden so everyone can explain them next week. So hopefully we're gonna get some good ones. So when I come back from DEFCON, there will be awesome stuff to talk about. So I'm going to just say hi to all the people who may have gotten the business card at DEFCON. My name is Chaim. Tom's there. Tom's the smart one. Say hi, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
Oh, Tom's the smart one. He's the explainer. He can explain everything. I can just talk for a long time. So what we do here is we have 30 minutes to explain a topic. It's lighthearted. Tom tries to explain it really well. I try to catch him off guard with weird questions. And from what I learned today at my little cybersecurity course I'm doing, I still have absolutely no idea what certificate revocation lists are. And even after last week, have no idea. So I don't know. So first thing, we're a week out. I'm just going to shamelessly self-promote a lot. I'm an organizer for the Crypto and Privacy Village. Come out, come see us. We have lots of awesome talks. We have lots of OPSEC, how to hide photos. We have some things that we can't even discuss yet. We have an awesome badge. And if you don't know what a black badge is, we'll get there in a few minutes. We're trying to get our puzzle to be black badge worthy, which means that if you solve it, first one to solve it gets lifetime admittance to DEFCON for lifetime for free. So there's lots of things. I know Tom's not going, but the big conference Tom always goes to is DerbyCon.
I'm hoping I will be able to make it this year. I doubt I will. With my giant move out to the West Coast, it's kind of nuts around here.
So, well, I've been at a cybersecurity course. We all know I'm an educator, and I've been at a cybersecurity course that actually isn't bad. What I found out is that there's a whole group of people going to DEFCON, and they look at me as, what should I do? What should I bring? So we say this every year. We talk about it every year. I think general conference, large group scenario topics are the same for the most part. So I'll just start. Have a plan. So whenever the plan could be, I'm just going to walk around and say hi to everybody, but don't be lost. Try and know exactly where you want to go. Walk with a purpose. And if you see a shiny squirrel on the side, say hi to it. Try to pet it, do whatever. But be flexible, but have a plan. Because if you don't, you're just going to walk around aimlessly. You're just not going to know anything, and you're just going to waste your time. So
there's going to be a whole lot to see. Tons of talks to go to. There's literally more to do than you have time there. So, figure out what you want to do, and especially the talks. If you know they're going to be on DEFCON's YouTube channel or up on their site later, you can safely skip a couple of them, especially if they're going to be like super packed and overcrowded, and just catch them online later. It could be a little different. I know at DerbyCon, some of the talks have things that couldn't and shouldn't have been recorded. So being there live kind of helps that a little bit, but figure out what you want to do the most.
And your very first exposure to DEFCON is called LineCon. So Thursday morning at 8 a.m., you're going to stand on line, which could be for 15 minutes or could be for 4 hours. We don't know yet. We have a brand new venue. So this could either be awesome and smooth, or you're going to be standing there. So bring have a nice pair of shoes, but be ready to talk to your neighbor. Get to know your neighbor. Talk to them. Find out why they're there. It's a lot of fun just standing in line, talking to people, seeing everybody, and you may learn something. It may be the greatest experience even before DEFCON starts. So I don't know. Do they have LineCon at DerbyCon, or you get your tickets ahead of time?
Yeah, I usually get my tickets ahead of time. There's sort of LineCon when you're, jumping into registration, but with DerbyCon, it's 3,000, 4,000 people. So it's not like DEFCON where you've got 20,000 nerds to talk to. There's a lot of people there. Don't get me wrong, but LineCon isn't as big of a thing as it is at DerbyCon. or
So
DEFCON.
yeah. So after you get your badge, wear it with pride. I have no knowledge of what the badge is going to be, but I would almost guarantee that it's not going to be a blinky badge, which makes people sad sometimes, but there'll be a lot of opportunities for other blinky badges. First thing on Thursday is going to be the what's it called? The DEFCON 101 talks. So if you've never been there, I highly suggest you go to the panel talks to say welcome, see what it's about. You're going to see the Dark Tangent, Jeff Moss, who runs the whole show, and his group of people, and he's going to give you some advice, what to do, what to fight for, what to listen to. Go to those talks. I mean, I don't go to them anymore because I've heard them all. But again, those are where you should start. You should see what it's about. He's going to give you some good information, and you want to go from there. The next thing after that, you come out, try to get a schedule, try and sit down, try and find somebody, go get food, figure out what you want to do. I mean, you can look at the schedule online, but it's much easier while you hold a piece of paper in your little bag over there, see what's there, circle what you want to do, and then you know what? Start exploring. None of the villages are going to be up yet. So a lot of people are still over at Black Hat, and we'll get to that in a second. They're going to be like trickling in all day. So now you have the time, if you've never been there, just to figure out where everything is, see what villages are setting up, see who you can talk to. The security people are called goons. They always wear a red shirt. Start making friends with them. Again, half of DEF CON is social engineering. What's your ultimate goal are two things: to find as many swag items as possible, how many blinky badges, how many stickers, how many patches, how many whatever, and where the parties are. I'm going to ask Tom at DerbyCon. I know there has to be parties.
Oh, there are parties. There are definitely parties. Most of the time, just by talking to people, by listening in, you'll hear, okay, you know, after the last talk ends or before the music gets geared up for that night, you know, we're all going to meet at this bar and, you know, totally tear it apart. And it's a good time all around. Yeah, DerbyCon has got some yearly staples. I know there's a charity event. And if you're going to go to DerbyCon this year, please go do it. I want to say it's in September, I believe. But there's a cool charity event that I haven't gotten to go to yet called BourbonCon. So the money goes directly to a charity. I believe it's a cancer charity. And, you know, sit around, drink bourbon, talk hacking and security with your fellow nerds. It's a good time.
DerbyCon is September 20th through 24th.
There you go.
It is sold out, but I don't know if that really means sold out.
It is sold out. So DerbyCon, of course, like all these other big conferences, except for DEF CON, because they just keep throwing more and more and more people into that thing. DerbyCon tries to stay sort of small. But if you hit up Twitter, look for the DerbyCon hashtag, tweet at DerbyCon, and there are people, you know, life happens, and sometimes we can't get to all the conferences we want to go to. So people have spare tickets, and most of the time the DerbyCon people will sell them to you at face value, you know, whatever they paid for them. So they're not going to try to, you know, charge you a whole bunch of money for a ticket and try to, you know, make a buck off you. So I did that last year. It was great. It was wonderful. And I didn't have to spend, you know, more than 30 minutes asking around before I got one.
So, I mean, I would say that DerbyCon having the pre-registration ahead of time is always a good thing. DEF CON is sometimes a royal pain. Like I said, you can be waiting in line for, last year seemed like 15 minutes. The year before was 2 hours, but the year before that was like 4 or 5 hours in the Las Vegas sun. So we're now at a new venue. We're at Caesar's Palace, which is, I think, like gigantic. I think we're doubling our space. So we don't know what's going on. That's why that Thursday is so important. You get in, walk around, find where everything is. The map is going to lie and be like, hey, it looks really small. No, it's really big. And remember, there's going to be 25 to 30,000 people going there. And yes, we're always talking about finding the parties. So you want good parties, follow on Twitter at DEFCON Parties. See if you can get into their Slack channel. They usually post the parties before there. The problem is once it's announced on Twitter, the party is going to fill up very, very fast, and you probably don't want to go there. You're trying to find the smaller parties that are registration only or don't publicize, so it doesn't get just get huge. So
one thing to keep in mind while you're gathering swag at these security conferences, DerbyCon tends to be, it's been popularly said that DerbyCon is really the only hacker conference that you can almost use the public Wi-Fi at. But especially for DEF CON, when you're given USB sticks as swag, I wouldn't plug those into anything you truly value or into anything with good data on it. Just a helpful security tip.
So
you are at a hacker convention.
Yeah. So anything you get, always be aware of the social engineering aspect. Always be aware of anything you get. Anybody asking you to hold something or whatever it is, question everything. And I'm not saying go be 100% paranoid, but if someone's asking you to do something, hopefully it's not malicious. Sometimes it is. That's the part of DEF CON. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, there are different contests. There's a scavenger hunt contest. There's a beard and mustache contest. There's social engineering going on. So you never know what's going to happen. So you always want be ready for everything. And with that, go walk around, find the contests. Go to the capture the flag contest and see them there. Don't participate in capture the flag, because what you do is you end up sitting there for 3 days doing absolutely nothing.
I would actually say the exact opposite. If you want actual, pen testing, hacking experience that you're not going to get arrested for or commit a felony by doing, absolutely go to one of these security conferences, hit up Capture the Flag, bring a virtual machine of Kali Linux, bring an Alpha card, a USB Wi-Fi card, and go hack some stuff. It is great fun. It is extremely entertaining. And very educational. So, yeah, you're going to be missing out on some of the running around, but on the other hand, you're hacking stuff. I've had tons of fun at the DerbyCon CTFs, so definitely check those out. At least go there for an hour or two and just watch people hack stuff, because it is endlessly entertaining.
So find out where the other things are. So Wednesday afternoon, so before DEF CON Wednesday, they have DEF CON Shoot, where you have to get to the middle of the desert by Uber, by Lyft, by taxi, by hitchhiking, however you get there. And you can fire a lot of high-powered machine guns for, I think, $25 or $35. You have to pre-register, so you have to go look at it ahead of time. But again, it's all these underground things that you didn't know about. So be ready for that. But okay, so then the next question is, what should you bring? Bring a good pair of shoes. I can't stress that enough.
This is a must.
Don't bring the nicest shoes. You're not trying to impress anyone. Bring the comfiest pair of shoes you have. You will be putting 20, 30,000 steps a day.
I don't want to advocate for this, but the people I know who work in healthcare, who are on their feet literally 8 to 12 hours a day, a lot of those people that work on hospital floors wear Crocs for a reason. I'm not saying you should. I'm not saying you're not going to get made fun of, but they are comfortable to be standing up in for very long periods of time. I
mean, you'll be surprised who's showing up there and what they're wearing and everything else. So comfy shoes. I don't want to say it's going to be hot. Vegas is hot. So if you go outside, you are going to sweat. But inside, it is air conditioned and everything else. So be aware of the weather outside and inside. The thing I forgot last year is a pair of pants. I just had shorts. I had my cargo shorts and a couple t-shirts and like a button-down shirt. And the one thing I regret was bringing a nice pair of either jeans or khaki pants or some sort of long covering, because at night it doesn't get cold, but it gets a little, everyone's wearing long pants. You feel like a little out of place, especially if there's a party where you're going to meet some people who can potentially hire you. You want to look a little nicer than t-shirt and shorts.
And I do want to, like, we stressed this last year when we talked about our, the pre-DEFCON show, but I do want to stress that hackers are generally friendly people, especially like if you come to a conference like I do and I say, hey, look, I know a little bit, but I certainly am not, the hottest thing on the block. I don't know the most about anything compared to anyone. Can you teach me? Can you explain this concept? What would you do given this hypothetical? Stuff like that. Hackers love disseminating information. We love spreading knowledge. We love showing people how to do anything, even if you're like the newest of the new people. You have never been to a security conference. You just started watching this show 15 minutes ago. Ask a hacker about concepts, about how to do something, about how to stay safe online. And you'll see the vast majority of people at DerbyCon or DEFCON, they're going to be happy to explain stuff to you in a way that you understand. If there's one thing hackers love more than anything else, it's sharing knowledge.
So I'm looking for her Twitter name, but Tara Wheeler, she's actually a speaker for the Crypto and Privacy Village. She tweeted the other day, I will have open DMs during DEFCON if you want someone to talk to. So
she's fantastic. She's given a few talks that I've seen. Great person to talk to. So yeah, if you're bored or you want to ask someone a question, she's kind of an expert around the security parts. So look her up.
So again, there is an example of someone saying, hey, I want to help the people out, because the goal is to get people who are going to say, wait, I never experienced DEFCON, I don't know what to do, and be welcomed. The last thing you want is, I got to Vegas and everyone's ignoring me and everything is just miserable. So, okay, so now you have your comfy shoes, you have your clothes on. So we hear a lot about, do not bring a burner phone, bring a burner laptop, wipe everything. Don't look people in the eye, all this other stuff. A lot of it is overblown. The idea is be secure with whatever you're doing. So the open Wi-Fi, do not go on the open Wi-Fi. Do not.
Just like, especially even hotel Wi-Fi or even airplane Wi-Fi on the way to DEFCON or DerbyCon. Just don't use Wi-Fi. If you can set it on your phone, I know a lot of Android phones, well, some Android phones allow you to do this. Make sure that LTE is your preferred and preferably your only network provider in the area if you can support it, because LTE has got way higher safeguards than something like 3G, and 3G is even going to be a little more secure than 2G, which has almost no security really today. So stick with your mobile data plan. As far as devices go, I usually bring clean image of a fully up-to-date phone. I usually take a burner Linux install of Ubuntu or Debian or something, patched up to whatever current is when I walk in the door. And then I wipe it when I get back. I transfer the notes to something, and yeah. So don't take any data you really care about, and try not to run around with like your Bitcoin wallet in clear text on a public Wi-Fi network.
Ask yourself what you literally are going to need for the next 5 days. Do you really need? I mean, I'm doing something else, but I would probably show up if I was just attending with a Chromebook. Wipe the Chromebook before I leave, do whatever I need to do, have my dummy account, browse as guest, wipe it when I'm done, and be done with it. But I've brought my Mac now 2 times. I'm bringing it a 3rd time. You don't connect to the open network. You end up, you'll be fine. It's when you start doing something like somebody brings a Wi-Fi pineapple, you buy a Wi-Fi pineapple, and now you want to play with it and you have to connect to the open network. You're like, yeah, it'll be a second, or oops, I have to pay some bill or whatever it is. If you're going to do it, don't do it at Caesar's Palace. Go to a different hotel, one that people are not on. Do it on 4G. try to find other Wi-Fi that's not the conference Wi-Fi. Now, with that said, I will say that the secure Wi-Fi, DEF CON secure Wi-Fi, is actually secure. So at the end of DEF CON on Sunday afternoon, they have a whole meeting and they bring out the network team and they go through how they secure it. And basically they go after anybody who tries to do anything shady on the secure network. So,
which is really cool.
So, I mean, so if you're afraid your 4G is going to cut down to 3G or 2G, just go, or you have data issues, go on the secure network. It's fine. Nothing on the secure network should happen. So that's one. And ask your company. If you're going to DEF CON, absolutely ask your place of work. Ask their corporate IT and say, I'm going to DEF CON. What should I do? They may say you're not allowed to bring your phone. I mean, I doubt that, but they may have policy on that. So you make sure you don't want to like go against their policy.
There are some companies where, you know, bringing company devices or company data or having your personal phone hooked into like stuff like company email or instant messaging would be forbidden to, you know, go to any hacker conference. So ask around. Chances are, if you've worked for the companies I've worked at, they're like, hacker conference, or is it hacking illegal? And they have no idea, you know, what DEF CON or DerbyCon even is. But for the places that are knowledgeable, there might be a policy in place. So email the IT guy. He might be like, oh, wow, DerbyCon? That's pretty rad. Just don't bring company email over there. We don't want that stuff coming back. So yeah, ask around.
So visit the vendors if you want to buy a DEF CON t-shirt or a t-shirt. And you're a common size, not common in life, but common to DEF CON, which means that the people are generally bigger. The common sizes sell out much faster than the non-common sizes. So go to the vendors quickly, get whatever shirt you want, throw it in your bag, but do it soon. If you're an off size, there'll be plenty of them. Hit the vendors, see what the vendors have. Again, the vendor stuff sells out quickly, especially the popular stuff. So if you want something, buy it then, bring it to your hotel room, do whatever you need to do. Thursday is really the day to do that.
Yeah, if you're gonna head to DerbyCon and try to find something like a Wi-Fi pineapple, those sell out even at DerbyCon, those sell out within the first couple hours of the vendor area being open. So if you're gonna want a hot item or a popular item, get on it pretty quickly.
So I'm trying to think. So we did that. So Thursdays you're walking around. Friday and Saturday are the big conference days. There's going to be a lot of people. So at all these conferences, they say three things. Whether you're a Comic-Con, you're at DerbyCon, DEFCON, Black Hat, RSA, 3, 2, 1. So they want you to get 3 hours of sleep, and you say, "I get 3 hours of sleep." It's hard. You're just working on pure adrenaline, and you're at the party. It's 2, 3, 4, 5 a.m. Like, I won't get some sleep. You need 3 hours of sleep to function. Make sure you get it. You're going to hear it a lot. You need 2 meals. Make sure you eat twice in that day. If that means that you find a way to get a whole bunch of granola bars, we didn't say healthy. We just said eat. Find a way to get calories in you. And then finally, 1 shower a day. Please, please, for the love of anything,
this is the most important. The absolute most important.
Yeah.
Trust me. I mean, especially a place like DEF CON with tons of people. Do your part. It's just like herd immunity. It's just herd smell protection. Do your part and smell decently among the rest of your fellow humans. Very important.
Somebody gave DEF CON badge was a little stick of mini deodorant with a sticker on it and a lanyard. I mean, it's
awesome.
Because what you're doing is you're having your tactical jacket on with all your battery packs and your phone, and then you have your back with your backpack on it. It's heavy and it's hot and everything else. So find time when you have your 3 hours to take a shower when you wake up and do that. One of the DEF CON hacks that I've heard about, or I'm going to do this year, is I'm bringing my AeroPress coffee maker. There is no coffee in Las Vegas. And you may say, but I get coffee all the time. It's like $7 in the casino.
Ooh.
So I mean, if you're used to paying $4, it's like crappy coffee for $7. So I'm
just as a price check, like I got the AeroPress kit with the bag and all the filters and everything, and it was like $30, $40, something like that.
Absolutely. But I could not find a coffee place last year. And I may have been looking in the wrong spot. So I don't know what kind of room you have. My room does not even have a coffee maker. Like, so I can't even make hot water. So I have to bring like an immersion spoon that heats the water and this and that. So I'm still trying to find hot water. But if you're a coffee person, find a way to get coffee. Otherwise, you're going to be paying for it.
Yeah. And I mean, especially with your 3 hours of sleep rule, you're going to need some coffee. You're going to need the caffeine pick-me-up this weekend.
I say to CVS, I don't remember what drugstore du jour it was, but there's a drugstore across the street. It sells everything you need. Buy from there, because even there will be expensive. A Gatorade will be $3, but inside it's $6. So buy whatever you want there, especially if you can't take it on the plane because of their rules. So let's see. We did, and
probably a good thing to mention is, yes, you're going to a hacker conference, but that doesn't mean you have to show off or shut off all the TVs in the bars. Yeah, there's a little bit of that. And, don't use the ATMs in Las Vegas while DEFCON's going on, because they will be hacked. But, don't be a nuisance to the people who live and work there, because let's be real, DEFCON, we would be guests in whatever city we're attending, right? Be nice, don't litter, tip your service staff well. They're putting up with you and everyone else. It's going to be a busy week for them and you. So, generally try to make a good impression about the community on the rest of these people who aren't a part of it. All right, show them that hackers aren't evil people who are out to steal your credit cards, that we can do some good in the world.
Remember, there will be kids and families walking through the same casino that you are, not knowing that 30,000 people decided that this weekend was the perfect time to have a hacker convention. So if there's nothing else, I just want to end with two really, really quick stories that we talked about like a few minutes before the show. The first one is the Australian Prime Minister. Tom, did you hear what he said?
If I remember correctly, I did, but I've been kind of lacking on hacker news recently.
So basically, Malcolm Turnbull, when asked about encryption, says we need to find the back door and the government needs things of encryption. He basically said, and I'm looking for the tweet now, that the only laws that are obeyed in Australia are the Australian laws. So math doesn't matter. The math laws of gravity, laws of physics, none of that matters.
No, that sounds entirely rational. I don't know why anyone would listen to something like gravity or thermodynamics in Australia. If it's not codified in the law, it doesn't have to be followed. So Australians, get on those perpetual motion machines. Feel free to fly around in anti-gravity, and also make sure that all mathematics are backdoored.
So Turnbull, well, the laws of Australia prevail in Australia. I can assure you of that. The laws of mathematics are very commendable, but the only law that applies in Australia is the law of Australia. I don't know what context he said that in, but I'm sure he's very frustrated with encryption and everything else. So it was more of, I don't know what I'm doing as far as encryption, but this is the law, and I don't care what math has. That's not going to stop us. But of course, it came out really dumb.
Yeah, and it always will. Unfortunately, this is a pretty common sentiment amongst legislators and politicians, which is, we can fix anything in the world, even if it's literally impossible to change, by writing law. And it's just not that way. And no matter how many laws you write, 2 + 2 is never going to equal 5. That's just not the way this stuff works.
But
And
unless it's high values of 2.
I guess you could have like 2.5 and 2.5, and that would equal 5. But you can't have 2.0 base and 2.0 base equal 5.
So, and then so we had to leave you with that. And then the last story that came out today is apparently UK is going to do some weird online verification if you want to view pictures or things that are not appropriate for people under the age of 18. And it just reminds me that apparently you have to enter in a credit card number. So people are just going to have a list of credit card numbers that are just defunct and put those in.
Basically, if I'm an investor, I want to today invest in UK-based or companies that operate mostly in the UK, VPN companies, because I guarantee you they're going to see some bump in numbers.
Talking about VPNs, I've seen a lot of articles recently, lots and lots of articles, and maybe I'm just looking at VPN. They're all sponsored content for some VPN that they think is good. And we're not saying that it's bad, but it's like, holy crap, it's just a lot of sponsored content. So again, before you check the VPN, do your due diligence. Don't use a list. Don't use this website. Go to the highly respectable websites. A good website will tell you what to look for, and try to avoid at all costs to say this is the better one. So.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of those going around, and a lot of use this random weird secure messaging app because it's the new hotness and they paid us for an ad.
So
you're gonna have to, unfortunately, listeners, you're gonna have to get more vigilant going forward on saying, I don't think this random weird piece of brand new security software is actually the new hotness. Rely on fundamentals, rely on the stuff that works and has been around for a while, because just because a piece of security software comes out and it's brand new doesn't mean it's better than the old stuff. In security, pretty often the opposite's true. The stuff that's been around for longer is more battle hardened.
So with that, last plug for me, I'll be at the Crypto and Privacy Village. You're free to say hi to me, bring me a tasty beverage, bring me food. You want to go get dinner? I'll be more. You can tag along with me. I'm saying hi to everyone. So whoever wants to say hi to me, I'll be there, and I'm sure the rest of the village will be just as friendly. Go walk around, have fun, and I guess we'll see you. I don't know if we'll see you next week, but at least probably 2 weeks.
And we will have a lot to talk about.
Absolutely. So we're going to say bye, and we will see you then.
See you, everyone.
Bye.